I'm teaming up with Emma on this special edition of Flying Doodles as we take you through all the sights and sounds of the Oshkosh EAA AirVenture 2025. We're showing you some cool new tech and some of my favorite airplanes of the show. There's so much to see at Oshkosh, and I tried to pack as much of it as I could into one single video. And you can't forget the nighttime air show featuring an F-22 and an F-35. So I'm gonna head in to the EAA. I'm gonna meet up with Emma. She's the host of Flying Doodles. Hope you guys check her out. And we're just gonna walk around and show you some of the sights. So, we got a meet and greet today at one of the vendors. So, all right, guys, let's go in. I got pretty lucky. My campsite was relatively close to the entrance to the EAA. It was only about a 10-minute walk. You're going to do a lot of walking at an event like this, so be sure and wear comfortable shoes. I was wondering if I could bring my e-bike here, but it looks like a lot of people do, so next time I'll bring my bike when I come down here. So something like these Tarragons I'd be really interested in. I mean, again, so you're looking at, $460,000. But you're getting an airplane that cruises at 170 knots. That's almost 200 miles an hour at 6.5 gallons an hour of fuel. The thing is all carbon fiber, weighs less than 1,000 pounds. It has a ballistic parachute, I believe, in there. So, pretty cool stuff there. Honestly, like most airplanes these days are damn near $1 million. It's only a two-place airplane, but you're getting a lot of speed for it. This would be something I'd be interested in. Again, it's out of my price range, but, maybe in a few years I get a used one or something. I don't know, but pretty cool. Kind of surprised Gulfstream's actually got a thing. I'll go there and check it out a little bit later. It says invitation only, so I don't know what they're doing. But they're, the big $70 million jets. I don't know why they're here. But we're about to meet up with Emma from Flying Doodles. She's the host of that for the past year or so. So we're gonna go walk around and see some stuff. Look who it is.
Hey.
We got Emma from Flying Doodles.
Yep.
How was your air show so far?
So far, I'm loving it. I mean, it's airplanes. I love airplanes.
Film any cool stuff? Any rides or what?
So far, rides?
Or I don't know.
Oh, like lately on Flying Doodles?
Well, no, I'm talking about at the air show.
Oh, here, yeah. So we got on the Lockheed Constellation. Didn't get to fly on it yet. Fingers crossed on that one. And then the Goodyear Blimp. Also didn't get to fly that one. But
that's been your dream for a while, dude.
Oh my gosh, right? Like I keep talking about it, and I finally was able to get an interview, at least a ground interview, and some B-roll of the Goodyear Blimp. So those are my two top big ones right now. But we can always do better, so we're gonna try.
So she's filming all that for the other Doodle Network channel. That would be Flying Doodles.
Yep.
So she's been the host of that channel for about a year now. So go over to Flying Doodles. There's links down below, and you can catch Emma hosting a bunch of airplanes on that.
Come check it out.
All right, let's go walk around and see some stuff.
All right.
So this is one manufacturer that I've been impressed with for a while, the Diamond Aircraft. They do things a little differently than some of the other manufacturers. So their engines are actually diesel. Well, they run on Jet A, basically kind of a kerosene type thing, Jet A. And the good thing about that is that a diesel engine runs at, it redlines at 2,700 RPM, which is redline on any airplane too, because as your prop spins, if you spin it any faster than 2,700 or 2,800 RPM, the tip of the blade will go supersonic. And then you get a lot of problems that have to do that with like drag and, it can shake things apart and all that stuff. So, so that's why gasoline powered piston engines for airplanes only have a max of 2,800 RPM as well. They're using low RPM, but each stroke is really powerful. And that's not ideal for a gasoline engine. Gasoline engines run better high RPM, low pressure. And that's why, if you look at an F1 car or the high-end motorcycles and all that, they're running at 20,000 RPM, right? Which you can't do that on a regular airplane. So what you're seeing is some airplanes are going with Rotax engines, which have a gearing ratio that reduces by half. So if the gas-powered engine is spinning at 5,000 RPM, it has a reduction gear on there that slows it down to 2,500 RPM. And so that way, the engine's more efficient and you're not overspeeding the process. But with Diamond here, is that they're using, diesel powered engines. You can see though, the cowling is a lot bigger than an equivalent size gasoline powered engine because diesel engines just are bigger. They need to be beefier, have bigger, heads and blocks and all that stuff because they're using a lot higher pressure. Because, in most diesel engines, there is no real spark, there's no spark plug. You might have a glow plug for when it's cold, but the compression of the cylinder is such a high pressure that it ignites the fuel in there. And so it's a lot bigger engine. and because it's bigger, it's also heavier. So that's why I think a lot of manufacturers have not gone to the diesel engine, but Diamond has made it work, and you know, I really like the concept there. So there has been some issues, you know, because the diesel engines are a lot heavier, but they still have a useful load on this airplane, the DA-42, of nearly 1,300 pounds, which is pretty good, and for a 4-seat airplane. And you're cruising at over 170 knots, so I really like this. And you know, the design of the airplanes is really nice. It's, you know, the Cessnas these days and all that, they look kind of boxy. They still make them the same way. You got your rivets and your aluminum skin and all that. There's a lot of drag, and you can only make certain shapes out of it. Whereas they're using composite wings, composite skin and all that, so you can really get a much more aerodynamic flow. I really like what Diamond's doing here. So then you have your single engine version. The max cruise speed still says 180 knots. That's max cruise. So you're probably gonna be cruising at 165, 170 normally, but has a useful load of 1,232 pounds. So, you know, I mean, that's what I would do. Don't get me wrong. The single twin engine's great. You know, the second engine just gets you to the scene of the crash, right? Especially as reliable as these engines are, I'd rather just have the maintenance of one engine, unless you're gonna do a lot of over water stuff. See, this is what I mean. So there's a Cessna 182. Look at all the rivets, and then it's a boxier design, and it's just not a modern design. They haven't changed the way they've made these airplanes in a while, and so, you know, there's a reason. You know, I don't know how much this 182 cruises at, but a lot slower than that comparable Diamond. There you go. It max cruise 165, so you're only cruising that thing at 150, so 20 knots slower, and the useful load's only 900 something pounds. So you're 300 pounds less useful load, 20 knots slower. It's probably more expensive than a Diamond too. I'd rather have a Diamond than a Cessna Skylane any day. All right, I already got the dogs looking adorable in a sidecar. I need to get the dogs a little pedal plane and pull them around. I think it'd be fun. All right, that's gonna be a wrap for me on my day one. It's actually about, the event's been open for a few days. I'm definitely gonna be filming more tonight because they have a night air show. I'm gonna try to bring my good camera for that, see if we can get some cool shots of that. And then I will go around and see some more of the other airplanes and more of the warbirds and all that. I'll do that tomorrow. I mean, I guess he was going downwind, but I had no idea those blimps were that fast. Bring your walking shoes out here, because my dogs are barking. I'm not talking about the ones back at the RV. I think next time, because it's a 10-minute walk to here from the campground, but I'm bringing my bicycle next time. You can't bring it inside here, but maybe I can play my old man card and get one of these rascal scooters. All right, my day two here at the air show, Oshkosh. Gonna take you on board today, go through some of the warbirds and some of the older planes and give you a look at all the stuff that I find interesting here. Made a previous video about my arrival here in the RV. There are 12,000 campers here, RVs here. I'm sure there's a lot more staying in hotels and such. I believe the total attendance is expected to be 680,000. So I'm gonna take you in today. And I showed you yesterday the Diamonds and Tarragon and Cessna and a few others, and now I'm going to show you some more stuff. My RV was only parked about a half mile to the entrance to the air show. There's so many things at the event that you can't possibly see everything in one day. But I headed straight to one of the vendors I definitely wanted to see, Delta Hawk Jet A piston engines. This is what I've been screaming for a while, and I've not really seen anybody do it other than Diamond. It's all prototypes so far, but I'm gonna try to talk to somebody about this. Delta Hawk, they're making a diesel Jet A powered engine. All right, so I'm here at Delta Hawk with John. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
So tell me about this engine. I've been really interested in diesel engines for airplanes for a while. It just makes sense to me. But it's always been like a weight issue and stuff like that. So what have you done? Because this looks fairly compact for its size.
Yeah.
So what's going on here?
So we are, it's clean sheet design, right? So we're not taking an automotive engine and making it into an aircraft worthy product, right? So we're direct drive. So when you talk about weight, I'll talk about all the things that we don't have, right? So we are direct drive, right? No gearbox. We're all mechanical. Mm-hmm. So each pump provides fuel to each of the cylinders, right? We don't have, because of that, we have no tappets or anything like that. We are liquid cooled, so we don't have a wastegate.
Okay.
Right? You can't hurt our engine, you can't hurt our turbo, right?
Right.
We are super and turbocharged.
Right.
Again, from a redundancy standpoint, that's really good. But we are agnostic in our orientation. Right here, you're seeing it in a V, but if you look at this is the A configuration. This is what we put on the airframes just because of the sight line.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything is external. All of our pumps are external, right? So I know you were gonna. You said prep me on this. You're gonna ask about TBO.
Yeah.
We don't have a TBO.
Okay.
The FAA is the one who provides that to us, right? They're the ones who do it. They haven't given us one.
Okay.
We are trying to work with them on condition.
Right.
Because for us, again, everything is external.
Right.
There's basically crankshaft, conrods, and pistons inside. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have anything else in there.
Okay.
So, from a weight standpoint, we are very competitive. We've done some unique things with our engine block recently to take some weight out, but we also strengthened it.
Oh, I see.
It was we put the webbing there,
Right.
and it actually made it stronger,
Right.
than that. So we took about 10 pounds out of the block. When we talk about an installation, I'm pointing here to our SR20.
Yeah.
We are equal. We're about 30 pounds heavier than what we took out. You're getting more fuel efficient. I mean, we're 47% more fuel efficient than what we took out.
Right.
Right. So we don't feel that that's a problem from a weight standpoint. It's. I mean,
for 30 pounds, I would definitely make that swap any day of the week.
So we really. To look at that, as of last year, we took 277 pounds out. Is really what we did. Yeah. We right-sized all of our coolers, everything else, and we're really happy with the installation now.
So are these certified on the aircraft yet, or are they coming?
We are working with. We talked about an agreement we have with Piper on the Seminole, so that's going to be our first STC, and then we do have it on RV-14 right now, and in a twin velocity. So. From an experimental side of it. So we are getting very close to having that package available, but like I said, the Seminole is going to be the first STC out of the gate. And then we talked about a 170, I mean, we've already announced 172, 182.
Oh, really? Wow.
So.
And so what, cost-wise, as far as like one-to-one with the same horsepower motor, is it much more expensive?
Versus our competition, or?
Well, I mean, changing out the gasoline powered to this.
We are going to be competitive with our competition. I am really working on letting the industry drive what they want. We're not fully into production. We are working on our production certification through the FAA, which should happen by the end of this year.
Oh, nice.
And once we have that, we'll have a better feel for what requirements are going to be needed.
Yeah.
It's very hard to talk about that when I don't know what they're going to put on us, and most of it's the documentation that we have to go through, and inspections, and people don't understand when we're building this, we have to inspect every feature of all the parts. So 100% of the features on every part. Right. So a lead-in has to be inspected. Yeah. Where you just say break edge, you can't. Yeah. You have to give it a dimension. So.
Oh, I'm impressed so far. I mean, they're turbocharged. I mean, I think just the simplicity of the motor and all that has been what the aviation market has been needing for a long time. So I'm glad you guys are finally doing it, and hopefully it's coming to market pretty soon. Hey, well, thanks, John. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm glad that's in the pipeline for working out. I've been a long time proponent of getting a diesel engine, Jet A, same thing, into the general aviation market. I'm happy to see that, because I think gasoline engines, while are great, you have a shorter overhaul time, reliability isn't there. A diesel engine, anybody knows diesel engines, they're just getting warmed up at 100,000 miles driving, right? Whereas a gasoline-powered engine, is getting worn out by that time. I mean, you know, obviously gasoline engines are a lot better than they used to, but if you actually look at the gasoline engines that are being put in airplanes, they're designed 40, 50 years ago, and there hasn't been much change, and I'm glad to see this is happening. This is Editor Bobby from the future. While I'm editing this, I just want to say something. In this video, I say diesel a lot. Really what I'm referring to is Jet A. Chemically, it's very similar to diesel, kerosene, Jet A, it's very similar, but there's more additives and things in Jet A to keep it from freezing, like if you get up at high altitude and you get really cold and all that. So I say diesel, but really I mean Jet A. You should not put diesel in an airplane that uses Jet A, just to clarify. All right, back to the video. Ooh, what is this? Is there somebody controlling that, or is that just on its own? Wow. I was watching the guys. Oh my gosh, don't freak out. Uh-oh. You're gonna jump. Wow. Come on, jump. Whoa. That's pretty cool. You gotta be careful. That's our soon-to-be robot overlords here. That thing is pretty interesting, though. All right, let's go see some airplanes. Biggest growth in the aviation market I've seen in the last 10, 15 years has been kind of the off-airport landing stuff, like these Huskies and the Cubs and stuff like that. A lot of people just use them as toys. You know, they're less expensive. Well, they can be very expensive, but then a lot of airplanes, a lot of people they're pretty easy to build yourself if you want to do that, and you can land them anywhere and go back country. But, you know, slow and don't hold a lot of stuff sometimes, but they are fun. But, you know, when I say they're less expensive than like a Cirrus or something, right? Brand new Cirrus is $1 million. I'm not sure how much of these run, but in the hundreds of thousands. But, you know, it's a fun little toy to have. Again, not something I would buy necessarily. I don't want an airplane as a toy. I want it to actually move. I want to be able to take holidays on it and go on vacations on it. So I want something with a little bit of speed, 160, 170 knots. But I can understand the appeal of these airplanes, and they are fun. All right, I don't know why it's such a controversial airplane, the Cirrus. I think they're a great airplane. A lot of people give Cirruses crap, pilots that fly Cirruses. I don't know why. It's kind of become like a meme, like you just make fun of them because they're flying a Cirrus. Well, it's a good airplane. I mean, you know what? Be happy that it's getting people into aviation. People give it crap because it's got the parachute, and they're like, oh my gosh, why? You're just gonna pull the parachute at the first indication of a problem. No, you're gonna use it when you need it. And it has saved people's lives. Yes, I'm sure there's people that have used the parachute prematurely and it didn't need to be used, but you know what? It's their airplane, they paid for it, they can use it how they want. I think the airplane is overall pretty good. It has a nice sleek design, and it's, even though it is a complex airplane with its performance, it's a simple airplane to fly. So there are no retractable gears, so you don't have to worry about that. So one of the major problems with people flying airplanes is insurance, especially if it's retractable gear. They want 250 hours or more, or something like that in retractable gear because of insurance. People forget to put the gear down, or the gear fails to go down, or something like that. These are fixed gear, so you never have that problem. You know, you're gonna have some drag with that, but overall it complicates things a little less. You do have high performance engines with adjustable pitch propellers, but it's all integrated into the throttle. So like your traditional high performance engine, you have a mixture which can cut off the fuel or add fuel. You can lean out the mixture a little bit, make it run a little bit leaner on fuel, or add fuel depending on your circumstances. You have your prop control. So the prop, it adjusts the pitch of the prop. You know, doing all three of those things can be a little bit complicated, and you have a throttle to use, right? But with this, it's all in one lever. It does have a mixture, but the prop and the throttle are on one lever. You don't have to adjust it. So you get the high performance without needing to learn all that extra stuff. It gets more people in aviation. So I say good for Cirrus. One thing I don't necessarily understand is the Cirrus jet though. Cool concept and like great. It's a pretty niche market on what you would actually use that airplane for. But if you got the money and it fits your mission, go for it. Another thing they have here at the air show is they have 4 really big hangars that have all the accessories. You need a helmet, you need a headset, you want to upgrade your avionics, you know, mounts and cases and all that for your iPads, and you know, whatever you might need, you can get all that stuff here walking through and talking to all the vendors. One thing I have heard from vendors this week is that everybody's pretty happy with, number one, the turnout, and people are buying a lot of things. So Like they say their sales are up. A lot of the booths I've talked to, our sales are up. So that's a good thing. I mean, hopefully for the economy and for aviation in general. This is one of the cooler things I've seen. Just you get a whole replacement rolling chassis for your F-250 or your old Bronco or something like that. Swap the body out and you got a pretty cool modern truck that operates like a modern truck but looks like the old vintage stuff. Pretty cool. These things have always scared me a little, the auto gyros. But I mean, they look pretty cool. I mean, that open cockpit version is only $90,000 brand new. I mean, where else are you gonna get an airplane for $90,000 brand new? But you know, you put an iPad there and you're in business, I guess. Interesting. All right, a little lunchtime here, and I'll keep going down the flight line to see the airplanes that flew in. On the main ramp, they have a rotating static display. Today they had a C-17. On the day before, they had a 747. All right, I've been showing you mostly new airplanes. I'm gonna take you to the vintage airplane now. This is the flight line here. So they do a daily air show, which they just had the national anthem. And so now they're gonna start the air show anytime now. It should be happening right above us. So I'm just gonna walk down to the vintage airplane and show you that stuff. This would be on my short list for an airplane I'd want, Comanche 250. I think, you know, you get the speed, you get the range and all that, and they're not super expensive. They're in the price range. You know, they made them in the 60s and 70s, so that's affordable. A brand new airplane that's kind of performance you can't hardly afford. And then something like this, it's gotta be a mid 60s. It's an N35, I think it was early 60s when they made those, because it doesn't have the big door in the back. It's got a small cargo door, but that's probably something to be more in my price range. Early 60s Bonanza, although they're getting expensive. Even like a late 60s, early 70s Bonanza these days is $150,000, $200,000 these days. Cool here, 1948 Bonanza E225. Oh wow, there goes Anyway, it's 1948. I can't remember what year is it. This is an E225. It had the same motor as this, but mine was a little bit newer. Mine was like can't remember. It's very similar to my first airplane. I paid $25,000 for one of those back in like 2010. I think I need one of these for sailing doodles. That'd be a whole new aspect to the show. I don't know, probably not enough room to live in one of those though. 1938 Garmin Widgeon. So this is a Piper Twin Comanche, is the second and last airplane I own. I had a 1967 Piper Twin Comanche Turbo, so I had turbochargers on it. It was not pressurized, but I did have oxygen. And really loved that airplane. It had two 160 horsepower motors on it. It was a lot. I only paid $65,000 for that airplane, and I don't remember what year. So I think I had that Bonanza in like 2007, and I maybe got this in 2010 or 11, something like that. Maybe it's 2012 when I bought my Twin Comanche, something like that. I only paid like $65,000 for it, and I had it for 2 years, and then I had I lost my medical, so then I sold it. I sold it for like the same price as I paid for it. I did spend about $12,000 in maintenance on it though. That was the problem, is that, you know, a turbo Twin Comanche has the same performance basically as a Comanche 250, but it has two engines, so you're gonna have twice the maintenance. So that's why this is actually less valuable than that Comanche 250, just because of the maintenance on it. This would also be an airplane on my list if I was in the market for one. A mid-60s Mooney. They're pretty fast. They're known for being very fast and fuel efficient. The downside is they have a kind of a narrower cabin. So if you're a bigger guy, like kind of hefty, you may not want a Mooney, because you get a passenger next to you, you're definitely gonna be rubbing shoulders the whole flight. But it is very fast and fuel efficient, and you'll notice it's got this signature tail that is recognizable from Moonies everywhere. There's another Mooney right over here. I would probably not do any kind of Cessna. Maybe the TTX, whatever they call it, the Columbia. But that's like a Cessna 206, I think. You have 6 seats. You know, anything you can close the door on and it'll fly, but it's not real fast. And you know, I want an airplane that does 160, 170 knots. Yeah, I know some of the newer 182s will do that, but you're also paying like $1 million for that. You know, an older 182, certainly none of the 172s will go that fast. I mean, those Comanches are just sexy. I like those. Oh, here we go. When I said I wouldn't get a Cessna, I might have been lying. I might want to get one of these. A few of these Cessna 195s here. I don't know much about the performance of them. I'm not a tailwheel guy. I would definitely get my rating for this, but like these Cessna 195s are just cool. They have the radial engine. They have a big cabin inside, lots of space. I would, Cessna 195 is pretty cool. But I mean, they're all from the 1950s. I think that was a 1951, so I mean, they made them in a long time. There's so many airplanes out here. I've been walking through here for so long. Man, I've been walking down this flight line for 20 minutes. I don't even see the end of it yet. A lot of airplanes out here. Well, my RV just told me it lost power, so going back there to check, see if anything's wrong. You know, so they got the dogs in there, and it's not real hot today, but I want to check on them, make sure everything's okay. So, you know, 'cause it'll get warm in there without the air conditioner. So go back and check on that, and then I don't know. I think that's enough for today, showing you stuff. I'll take you back out tomorrow and show you some more of the new airplanes and some of the actual big warbirds. In case you want to know how I knew my RV lost power, I have actually some crypto miners plugged in. So, you know, I'm mining some crypto. Why not? It's free power to use whenever you're hooked up to the RVs. You know, because it's not metered. Power that you use in the RV parks is not metered, so why not? Anyway, they're hooked up to the network, and I got an app that monitors how much they're mining and all that, and the app just told me that all my miners just went offline, so they lost power. So I'm assuming power's off at the RV. The only other airplane on the list that I haven't seen out here that I would be on my list. So, you know, I talked about the Moonies, the Comanches. You know, I might go back to a twin Comanche, something like that, 195. You know, but another one that would be on my list would be a Bellanca Super Viking. Really efficient, fast airplanes. They are a little tight. They're kind of, you know, the same width probably as a Mooney. But one of the things they're known for is they have wooden wings. So you really got to take care of them. You don't want to leave them outside. You need to leave them in a hangar and maintain them. But if they've been really well maintained, they're fine. So, and that's probably why you're not seeing any of those out here right now. Number one, they're not as common as those other airplanes. But number two, yeah, you wouldn't want to leave it outside in the rain and the wind for a week or two at a time. You want that one to live in a hangar. All right, it is my last day here at Oshkosh. So I'm planning to leave tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, it rained pretty hard the other day, and I've got like a pond. I'm at the lowest point. No wonder it was one of the last sites available. I'm at the lowest point basically on this field. So all the water's run down here, and you can see the water table is only like 3 inches below the ground because it's still all in those treads. My aft wheels, I keep doing, if I say boat stuff, whatever. I live on a boat most of the year. So my aft wheels are on a little bit firmer ground. My front wheels have already sunk a little bit. So we'll see what happens when I try to leave tomorrow. But they do have a bunch of tractors and stuff to pull people out. But I'm sure everybody's gonna need that tomorrow. But anyway, I'm gonna head in now. All right, it's Wisconsin, it's lunchtime, cheese curd tacos. I think I gotta do it. So my electric bikes there, you still got a little bit of fur, and light up lights are on them from Burning Man. You can still see the playa dust. Once you get playa dust on something, it's almost impossible to get off. It takes you forever to scrub it clean. But you know, I've had that Pedigo for 4 years now. I think it's been to 2 or 3 burns, and it's still working just fine. So I'm pretty impressed it's last that long. I've got another one that's still decorated from Burning Man with all the pink fur on it, because that was what Amanda was driving around last time. So I didn't drive the pink fur bicycle here, but I do still have the black fur on it. I mean, who doesn't actually like cheese curds? I mean, like basically just fried mozzarella, fried cheese. All right, that was actually pretty damn good. All right, headed in now. So in case you're wondering here, they have a bunch of markets around with all the campers, you know, ice, coffee, beer, you know, sandwiches, all that kind of stuff. Kind of convenient, not too overpriced. And then all these vendors are generally independent. They have to pay. I don't know how much they pay to be here, but I was talking to I've talked to a couple vendors, not gonna say who they are and all that, but they say their sales are up quite a bit this year. Like, you know, 30-40% better than last year. So that's a good sign that, you know, at least the aviation economy is doing well. All right, for the latest from Piper is you have their M class. I'm assuming that's like, because it looks to me to be the same fuselage, the same basic design as the Malibus. And you have a couple different variants. You have the 350 all the way up to, I think they have a 500. And then they have all the way up to the 700. The 350 is powered by an IO 540. It can cruise a little over 200 knots, go up to 23,000 feet, 25,000 feet. Whereas the Fury has a PT6 on it. That's a turboprop engine and can go up to 30,000 feet and nearly 300 knots, so quite a bit faster. They're both 6-place airplanes, really cabin class, pressurized, all that, pretty cool airplanes. I'd like to see if I can get in there and stick my camera in there to show you, but we'll see what we can do. So I was able to stick my head in one there, showed you. The cabins probably are very similar. It's the same fuselage, basically. The Fury has a slightly bigger tail, different engine, obviously, and it has upgraded avionics. Ooh, there's nobody in there. Maybe I can stick my head in there right now and give you a look. Okay, and the Fury has a slightly different, has a little bit bigger wing, you know, because it's going faster, higher, and all that stuff. But pretty similar other than that. Eye-wateringly, $2 million for the 350, $4.5 for the Fury. I mean, cool airplanes. You probably have a very niche market who can buy it, but you know, if you've got, you know, for me, if you lived in a small town with a, you know, community airport, and you constantly travel, you know, 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 miles for work, and you do it, and it's worth it to you. Buy something like that, makes your commute really easy and all that. But $2 to $4.5 million, you're pretty limited on who's buying that. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have one. I actually have a video about a Malibu, so it's the same basic design. It's more like the M350, really cool airplane. You can buy a used one of those. I will link to that. That Malibu video, it actually has one of my more popular videos. I think it has over 1 million views. It was the first time me back in an airplane flying for a while, so please check it out. All right, so you're getting into the future here of aviation. You got the vertical takeoff and landing. So it's got 6 propellers. They're all, you know, vertical at the moment. And when it takes off, it transitions, they all 6 spin forward and push the push the airplane forward, and it becomes an airplane, right? So pretty cool. Right now they're saying it'll do about 200 miles an hour and it has about 100 miles of range. It's all electric. It is piloted. They've got this one here is their, I guess, demo airplane. They fly it around the air shows, and they got 4 or 5 more that are all in testing right now. So, all right, well, you got 5 seats in here plus the pilot, so, or no, 4 plus 5. But a lot of room in here, actually. Be interesting to see how this stuff happens. But there's no rudder pedals, you notice that, but you have 2 different controls here, more like a helicopter than an airplane. This is the future of aviation, it really is. That's why, like, so Mosaic passed recently, which is the new aviation regulations for light sport aircraft and light aircraft. Used to, they put a limit on engines and all that stuff. They didn't put a limit on how many engines and all that for that reason, because the FAA is forward thinking, going to know, okay, a lot of these light sport aircraft are going to have vertical takeoff and landing. They're going to be electric and all that, so pretty cool. I'm excited about this stuff. I think it'll be good for aviation in general. I'm sure they're going to be crazy expensive, and insurance for a while is going to be crazy expensive, but overall it'll be fun. So I found myself in like all the, you know, instruction in the universities and colleges are all advertising their aviation schools. So I went to Tarleton State University when I graduated. Technically, it's complicated. I originally started out University of Central Texas College, co-located together. Then it became Tarleton State my senior year, and then the next year it became Texas A&M at Central Texas, so whatever. I think I'm an Aggie, I'm not sure. But I actually graduated in Tarleton in Stephenville, even though that was the first time I ever went to that campus, because I went to Tarleton State at Central Texas in Killeen. Anyway, I digress. You got Embry-Riddle and all this stuff here too now. You know, if I was 18, 20 years old right now, I would not go to school or college anyway for aviation. I would not be seeking a career in aviation. I really don't think in 20 years, anybody that's going to school in college right now in aviation, they will not be able to retire as a pilot. In 40 years, for certain, there's not going to be a person in the cockpit. It's all going to be computers. There might be a monkey up there hitting a switch, but you'll no longer fly the airplane. I think that could be as little as 10 years for things like cargo aircraft, and 20 years you're going to see a much reduced pilot load and pilots in the cockpit of major airlines. In 20 years, a clean sheet airplane is going to be mostly computer driven, even taxied. There'll probably be a pilot up there the whole time. just to monitor things and to keep the public satiated by having a real live person up there. But the days of pilots are numbered, and I think you're fine right now if you're 40 years old, but if you're 20, I would not go to school for it. This is the Experimental Aircraft Association, so there are lots of workshops for building your own airplane. So over here you have sheet metal workshop. Here you have fabric. A lot of experimental airplanes are still made with dope and fabric and all that. Well, maybe not dope, but whatever. Welding, all these things you can learn on all this stuff. Fiber, you want to do fiberglass and all that. So you want to come here and learn how to do something with composites, all that. So the Vans RVs, I have been interested in these for a while. Some of the less expensive ones are probably in more of my price range. Like, I would love this RV10. This RV10 is amazing. 4 seats, super fast, super functional, carries a lot, goes fast, all that stuff. The downside is that it takes, like, if you were to build it yourself without any help, it'd probably take you 5 years. If you got some help, you could do it in a year and a half, then you got to pay for a build assist and all that. Technically, you're supposed to build 51% of the airplane. There's people that do, I don't know how they get around all that, but whatever. I don't think it's by time, it's by parts you work on. So if you build the wing, that's half of the airplane, right? So anyway, if you do 51% of the build, then you get to do the maintenance yourself. I believe, I need to do a whole video on Mosaic for the Flying Doodles channel. I'll probably do one of those this week. Mosaic just passed, they changed a lot of rules. So the types of airplanes you can fly have changed under light sport. And then I believe I think, I could be wrong on this, that they changed the rules on build. I think used to you had to be 51% of the build had to be done by yourself, and you were able to do all the maintenance and sign off on your condition reports and everything, annual inspections. But I think they've changed it now, I think. I could be wrong on this, so you want to look this up first. That if you go to a class by the manufacturer, whoever makes the kit and all that stuff, or a certified class, that if you take that class, that will allow you to do your own maintenance on that airplane too, I think. I could be wrong, I'll look that up. All right, now we are in the Warbird Center. I do not know my Warbirds, especially my old ones, so like, if I call something by the wrong name, I apologize. I know that's a Messerschmitt, that's pretty cool. It is a hot one today. It might be beer 30. I need to stop over and get a cold one. All right, so they had most of the Warbirds, like the bigger ones, normally you can walk around them, but I'm assuming they're gonna be starting up maybe for an air show or something, so they're not letting people out there right now. But you got, the P-51s and the Mustangs, I don't even know what these are. I'm sure that's what I think they are, I don't know. One thing I've heard a lot about lately are these Sling airplane. They are a, amateur experimental airplane, home-built airplane. And they're claiming with the quick build kit. So I think the quick build kit comes with most of the, a lot of the big parts like the fuselage and the doors and all that, because those are the ones that are really hard to form. You can form the wings because the wings are made out of sheet metal and they're riveted on. So that wouldn't be too hard. But the fiberglass work for the fuselage and all that would definitely be harder to do. So they can sell you the quick build kit. It's an extra like $30,000 or $40,000 for the fuselage rather than building it all yourself, I imagine. But they say with the quick build kit, you can build most of these airplanes for 900 hours. So let me see here, if you're doing 40 hours a week, what would that be? Hang on a second, I can do math in my head real quick. 40, 10. Can't be right, 20 weeks? So 40 hours a week times 10, that'd be 400. Times 2 would be 800. So you're talking 40, 50 weeks. So they're saying you can build, if it's your full-time job, you can build one of these in less than a year. Maybe you can. That'd be kind of cool. Hopefully you know what you're doing. But with the quick build kits, they have airplanes that range from 120 knots cruise to 160 knots cruise for the Big Daddy Sling TSI. With the quick build kits, this is what I looked up, they range from $200,000 to $400,000 with the quick build kit. Subtract $30,000 if you want to do it all yourself, but then you're going to add a lot more weeks to that. I think I'll kind of work my way to the exit to see what I can find, anything else interesting to me. I'm not too interested in like the air show and all that. So once you've seen one or two, you've seen them all, especially some of these airplanes. The more impressive airplanes are later in the afternoon. Although I will come back for the night air show. I hear that's really cool. And when I do come back for the night air show, I'm gonna bring my really nice camera, like with the low light lens and everything. Should get some really good shots of it for you. And they've had quite a few F-35s actually fly by. And man, when they come by, like they scare the crap out of you because you don't know they're coming. and then they hit their afterburners right overhead. It's loud. It's kind of interesting though that they got some armed guys there hanging out by the F-35, I guess, make sure nobody tries to hop in and steal one. I don't know. Or maybe get close enough to take some pictures of something they shouldn't be taking pictures of.
Trying to get paid for the get down. You can't tell me shit now. Set the move from the dough. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. You can't tell me shit now. That's just how it goes.
All right, I was trying to do a cool shot, like, you know, but I can't like hold the camera and the beer and ride a bike at the same time, so you're gonna have to wait. What are you guys doing? All right, so I come back home and I have to fight off the terrorists. And then what I'm doing is I'm editing these basically right now so I can put it out tomorrow. Come on, quit it. Hey, let go. They might be. I thought y'all were done. Okay, I love you too. I know, I love you too. I love you too. Okay. Let me drink my beer in peace. Hey, quit it. All right. So, it's not over yet. Cheers to you. But I'm going to edit most of this video right now in the next couple hours. And then I'll film the night stuff tonight. And then I'll finish editing in the morning and you'll have it in the morning. So, all right, here we go. It has been a minute since I've used this camera. Hopefully the stability on it is pretty good. So this is a really nice camera. So it's Sony a7S III with, I mean, the lens on it is, I mean, the lens alone costs more than that Osmo. So I normally use the Osmo Pocket 3. This lens is, I don't know, $2,000 and the body's like $3,500. So it's like a $6,000 camera with the mic on it and everything. That being said, its low light capabilities are amazeballs. So I'm gonna take that in tonight. The downside of this camera, number one, is that well, it's a lot bigger. It's more conspicuous. So like if I walk in somewhere with this camera, people are like, what's going on with that? Whereas if I walk in with the Osmo, nobody even notices. And then, you know, I hold this out here. My arm's getting tired holding it up. And it's just a lot, you know, the quality on it's great, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, so I am gonna head in and I can't hold my chair, the bike, and this at the same time, so I'll see you guys when I get to the entrance. All right, about to walk in here. Got my chair with me. Brought a couple beers. Looks like people are bringing coolers and stuff. Had I known you could bring coolers and all that, I would have done that, but well, whatever. This is all right. So I haven't filled them yet, but you can hear the F-35 just ripping around here, blowing their afterburners every time they come by, so pretty cool stuff. That one's an F-22. That's pretty freaking rad. I mean, if that doesn't put a grin on your face, I don't know what does. I mean, come on. People say they got like FU money. Oh. It's like the American version of like FU airplanes. Like there is no country in the world that can compete with our airplanes. I mean, there is none. Pretty amazing. After the performance by the F-35 and the F-22, the rest of the air show started. I was pretty amazed by the coordination of these airplanes. Those crews are pretty good. And then the F-35C took off, also known as the F-35 Lightning. It is the Navy version of the airplane. The F-35C is capable of vertical takeoffs and landings. It can come to a standstill, do a 360, and then fly away. It was time for the fireworks show. It's much darker than my camera makes it look. You can actually see stars in the background. This is actually a Beech 18. All right, well that is it for me at the night air show. It was cool. It was cool. That F-35, that was cool. I mean, that thing just coming in just, oh wow. I mean, like, that's amazing, but pretty interesting. All right, so that is it from Oshkosh 2025. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Emma's gonna have a lot more content coming for you soon. And guys, we could really use your help. So I hired Emma about a year ago now to take over filming production for Flying Doodles. And, you know, I have to pay her for that. And I'm losing money every month. And, you know, unless really that changes, I can't continue to just lose money on this every month. So if you really like this content, you want to see it continue, please consider becoming a patron. You go to patreon.com/flyingdoodles. You know, if I can just at least break even on this, I'd love to keep it going. But right now I've been losing money for a year, and it's not an insignificant amount. So if you really like this content, you know, if a couple hundred of you just join, become a patron, you know, at $8, $10 a month, I'm not even sure how much it is, then that would definitely cover the cost for the channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you could do that and keep this channel going. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed, and if you're really enjoying it and want to see it continue, please consider becoming a patron.